and anything. Wallahi brothers, go home, read the stories of what happened in Baghdad. Shocking. There's a famous saying that the rivers were of two colours. Red because of the blood of the Ummah, and blue because of the ink of the books. They destroyed everything. Now, there's many parallels that we could draw from this battle. Many parallels from the history of the Mongols. The first issue is the issue of Al-Kimmi. Today, brothers, I ask, do we not see treacherous and tyrannical rulers going against the Ummah, killing their own Muslims? We see what Gaddafi has done to the Muslims. We see what Bashar al-Assad has done to the Muslims. These traitors, these tyrannical rulers, these treacherous rulers killing the Muslims. The blood of the Ummah, which is more important than the whole of the Kaaba and its surroundings. This means something to us. This blood is the blood of the Ummah, which is one Ummah. This means something to us. How Al-Kimmi betrayed the Muslims, today we see our rulers betraying the Muslims. So many parallels that we can draw. Well, because of this, they entered into Baghdad, killed like 800,000 Muslims. They got the Khalif, wrapped him up in a carpet, trampled all over him. Another point here. They're not satisfied with invading our lands. They want to humiliate us. They want to humiliate us. Let's look at today's reality. Abu Ghraib, Guantanamo. Humiliation. People urinating over the Quran. Our deen attack. We're humiliated on a daily basis. Physically, mentally, psychologically, in every single way. It's not enough they have us. But they want to humiliate us. Similar to the time of the Mongols. They got the Khalif, wrapped him up, trampled over him. These people were so barbaric, even their women were fighters. There's a famous story, a Mongol woman came to a Muslim man and said to him, I'm going to kill you. Put your head next to that rock, because I don't have a weapon. I'm going to go and get a weapon, I'm going to come and kill you. This Muslim man was so frightened, he stood there with his head on the rock while the woman went away. She came back with a boulder, cracked his head open. It's actually quite a funny story. He could have run away. He was so frightened that he didn't move. He was so frightened. Brothers, today, what are we told as Muslims? You can never win. You can never unite. You can never move. You can never do anything. You're scum, you're this, you're that. The fear of this man is like the fear of the Ummah today. In every sense. In every sense. But today we see signs of that fear going away. Speaking out against tyranny. Enjoining the good, forbidding the evil. We make dua when the Muslims open their mouth, only the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come out and nothing else, no kufr, nothing. This is the dua that we make. Well, the stench of the blood of the Muslims filled the city. They finally walked out of Baghdad, they decided to enter Egypt. And when they entered Egypt, they sent a letter to a man who was the leader, Sayfuddin Qutuz. Everybody remember this man's name. Sayfuddin Qutuz. Google it. Use Sheikh Google, find out what he's about. They sent him a letter. I'm going to read you the letter. They said, from the king of the kings of the east and west, the great Khan, to Qutuz, the Mongol, who fled to escape our swords. You should think of what happened to other countries and submit to us. You have heard how we have conquered a vast empire and have purified the earth of the disorders that tainted it. We have conquered vast areas, massacring all the people. You cannot escape from the terror of our armies. Where can you flee? What road will you use to escape? Our horses are swift, our arrows sharp. Our swords are like thunderbolts, our hearts as hard as the mountains. Our soldiers are numerous as the sand. Fortresses will not detain us, nor arms stop us. Your prayers to God will not avail against us. We are not moved by your tears or touched by your lamentations. Only those who beg our protection will be safe. Hasten your reply before the fire of war is kindled. Resist and you will suffer the most terrible catastrophes. We will shatter your mosques and reveal the weaknesses of your God. And then we will kill your children and your old men together. At present you are the only enemy against whom we have to march. Look at the sentiment and the style of his letter. Pretty much you're the last stand. There's nothing left. Surrender now, you've got no hope. Look at what Sayfuddin Qutuz does. He's a bit different. He chops the head of the messenger, sticks it on the gates of Cairo. The Mongols are thinking, well, you're supposed to be frightened. He sends him a strong message. You're dealing with someone different here. You're dealing with someone different. Now, the story takes us to a man called Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam. Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam is one of the greatest of the ulama. There's a saying that when he used to enter the city, the other ulama used to retire. They wouldn't give fatwas next to this man. This is how great Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam is. He's a pure scholar. Sayfuddin Qutuz came to Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam and he said to him, we need money for the war effort. Give a fatwa raising the tax on the Muslims. It's a legitimate thing to ask. They're going to be crushed by the Mongols. Give me a fatwa to say that the Muslims can pay more tax, so I can put that for the war effort. Look at the response of Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam. He said, no. Go and empty your palaces first. Go and empty the jewelry in your palaces before you even come to me and tell the Muslims to give up their wealth. First you empty your wealth. Look at the response of Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam. In front of the leader, he has the courage and the strength to say, you go and empty your palaces. Sayfuddin Qutuz had to go empty his palaces, then he came back. And Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam gave the fatwa. Again, let's draw parallels. Let's look at this. The role of the scholar, the role of the ulama, who are the inheritors of the Prophet. At the forefront of accounting the rulers. At the forefront of accounting the rulers. At the forefront of enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. We see in history the great ulama, they always accounted the rulers and they suffered for it. Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam is an example of a person who accounted the ruler. Today we see shuyukh, we see ulama giving the most strangest of fatwas, strangest of rulings. And the ummah is silent. When they go against the definite, when there's something that's qat'i, there's no doubt in it. When there's something there's no doubt in it, and the ulama go against that, we need to speak against that. The other day I was reading, they were saying, we know that the fast is an obligation. They were saying, the football players don't have to fast. Subhanallah. Strange. Very strange. This is a real ulama, real scholar. Now, moving on, I'm going to try to skip a little bit because we've got a short time. The Muslims, they prepared themselves really well. And they devised a very smart strategy. What they did was, they split their army into two. They put one section in the mountainous rocky areas because they knew them well. And they split the other army to go and fight the Mongols head on. And the Mongols looked at the army and thought, this is it. We're going to slaughter these people, we're going to have fun. But the Muslims used a very clever strategy. They would attack, skirmish, and then they would retreat. They would come back, have a little skirmish, and then they would retreat. And they would keep doing this. And then the Mongols were like, they're bloodthirsty. they want blood. What's going on here? So they got frustrated and they chased the Muslims. And the Muslims took them where? Right to this mountainous area. And then they surrounded the Mongols. And now the battle was even. The Muslims were making inroads into the army. They were actually killing some of the Mongols. And in the midst of battle, a hole appeared. There was a crack in the defense of the Muslims. Sayfuddin Qutuz, overseeing everything, he realizes this. And there's a side story to this. He acted quickly when he saw this, because his wife, either during or before, she passed away. And while she was ill, Sayfuddin Qutuz was beside her. And he was saying to her, Wa zawja, wa zawja. He was saying, my wife, he's trying to call his wife. And his wife looked at him and said, dude, you need to man up. You know when someone acts like a woman, when a man acts a bit, subhanallah, like a woman, let's just say. Subhanallah, when he's, in tears, when he's, acting all childish. And he turned around and said to him, yo, dude, man up. This is pretty much what his wife was saying. His wife was saying, look, the deen is under attack. The ummah is under attack. And you're worried about me. You're the leader of the Muslims. Come get your helmet on and sort it out. He remembered this. When the crack appeared, he changed the chant. He said, Wa Islama, Wa Islama. And he chanted this and he charged forward. He took off his helmet. Look at the significance of taking off your helmet. You're the leader of the Muslims. As soon as you recognize you're going to be killed. But the leader of the Muslims at the forefront, he charged, and because of what he did, the Muslims were able to defeat the Mongols. And this was the beginning of the fall of the Mongols. And again, when did this take place? In the month of Ramadan. This is when it took place. SubhanAllah, I hope the message today is clear. Ramadan is not a month where the ummah is asleep. Ramadan is not that month. Ramadan is not a month of laziness, of being lethargic. It's not a month where we don't act. It's not a month where we seclude ourselves. It's not a month where we separate ourselves from society. It's not a month where we think it's all about being in the masjid or not thinking about the world. There's elements of that. We have to improve ourselves. We have to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But alongside this, we have to engage in society. We have to enjoy the good, forbid the evil. We have to speak the truth. We have to defend the deen. We have to stand for Islam. We have to do all of those things. We have to be that comprehensive person. Ramadan is a month of victory. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it a month of victory again. The ummah needs to wake up. The ummah needs to know its history. Everybody here came from greatness. We will be great again. This is the promise of Allah. We don't despair the promise of Allah. The Muslims will never be defeated because we have Allah with us. And this is the belief. Allah will always protect His deen. This is my message to everyone today. Go away, tell everybody. Tell your friends. Ramadan is the month of victory. Don't sit back. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He continues blessing us and showering His mercy upon us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help aid the Muslims who are struggling against tyranny, who are speaking the truth. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this month a month of victory for us once again, inshaAllah. Jazakumullah. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إنا أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم وأعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وأعوذ بك من فتنة المسيح الدجال. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله تعالى يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأحم وأكبر. والله يعلم ما تصنعون. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيموا الصلاة.